Hey guys, gals, and MBs. So I'm here today with the Korg Opsix. And first, before we get started, I am wearing gloves, and the major reason is because my hands are really nasty and gross right now from work last week and from them just being so dry. And I'm sure you don't want to see that as a close-up, so this will work. These are just, grippy gloves, so yeah, it'll be fine. But that said, yeah, so the Opsix, it is a really good FM synth, but it has a hidden superpower, and that is it can do physical modeling. And yeah, you think, well, how? Well, it has a comb filter that is pitchable. And if you look back through my channel, I'm always really into physical modeling. There's not that much hardware on the market yet, or there used to be at one, well, not even it used to be, but there used to be physical modeling hardware that existed on the market. Yamaha had one, and then soon the Steam Pipe will be out, and I'm sure there's some other physical modeling synths out there. I believe some like the Korg Oasis might have had a physical modeling device in it, but not device, but VST because it's all software based. But yeah, that said, we're going to use the Korg Opsix to do physical modeling. If you look back through my channel, I did one about 11 months to 12 months ago on the Mini Freak, where I went over using the comb filter for physical modeling, and that's kind of what we're going to do here. And one of my most popular short videos is of me using a Empress Echo system to show how a comb filter works in the context of Car Plus Strong synthesis. So yeah, that's like a 4 or 5 year old video now, which is insane. But okay, that all aside, let's kind of get started with it. So let me move some stuff over. We're going to use the Opsix. We're going to use the black hole a little bit here to sweeten up everything. The reverb in the Opsix is absolutely ghastly. It is not the same reverb that is found in the multi-poly, the mod wave, or the wave state. It is its own thing. It's very close to the reverb that is in the Minilog XD. All right, all that aside, the thing that really got me to figure out how to do this easily was a patch 194 here called Comb Strings. And yeah, no effects, external. This is just what it sounds like. And I have a Novation launch key off screen here because otherwise it would be too complicated of a video to set up right now. So, but yeah, that's how I'm triggering this. So yeah, I mean, we can trigger it here too. Yeah, kind of annoying, but there we go. So let's do this by initializing a patch. So we go Shift and initialize, press yes, and now we just get a sine wave. All right, and we're just going to use the base algorithm that it gives us in this. It'll be super easy to do, so let's go to the algorithm mode. Let's switch over to, we need to go over here. We need to click operator. We need to click mode, and we need to pick the first it'll be the second operator actually. So we pick operator 2, which you see is lit up there. I know we could probably use the custom operator modes where you can make your own, but this is just easy and it has what we need. So what we want to do here is we want to change it to have some pink noise. You can use white noise. I haven't tried taking a sine wave and like modulating it really fast because that's another way you can get Car Plus Strong. I think that's the easiest way mathematically to do it instead of noise. I'm not 100% sure, but I think that might have been the original intent of what they used. All right, so we want to go ahead and bring up that operator. So we could do that with this right here. So this is operator 2. Right? Okay, cool. So let's go back to operator 1, and we're going to switch this from mode. We're going to switch it to effect. And then we need to switch it over to, it should be comb filter. I'm looking for it. Probably just passed it, didn't I? Short comb. There we go. And what we need to do is the effect mode already has an oscillator assigned to it. We need to turn the oscillator all the way down because we don't want to hear the sine wave from that. And there we go. That's really all that's to it. And as you know, with a comb filter, all it is a really short delay line. Think of it like a flanger, for instance. It wouldn't be a phaser. A phaser uses all pass filters, but a flanger obviously uses a bucket brigade device. In your original sense of it, when they first came out, I mean, you could do tape flanging, but I meant the pedal form that would use, unless it was a CCD, but you can correct me if I'm wrong on that. A lot of people don't know CCDs were the precursor to bucket brigade devices. Yes, I know they're used for imaging as well, but they were also used as a memory storage device. So, like, you know. Anyway, you have a feedback setting, so it's just a delay line with feedback. And the more feedback we give it, the longer it'll be, kind of. So I guess not longer. I guess it kind of opens up and closes the resonator cavity. If you think of it like a physical modeling synth, it's kind of like the resonator, and the noise is like the impulse that you're sending through the resonator cavity. If you, I think that's how it works. And I know I'm oversimplifying this, but I think the way it works is you send it noise. Noise is like just it's broad spectrum, so it has like all the frequencies in it, and then you use the comb filter to pick out exactly what harmonics you want, and then you close off the ones you don't, and then you get the sound of a string, which is really interesting. It has a very specific sound to it. You can't really get around it when you're using synthesis like this, so that's why I'm hoping the steam pipe is a little different, because this will be my Car Plus Strong synthesizer, obviously, and weirdly enough. But yeah, so that said, there we go. But we're not going to stop there. We need to go ahead and shape some envelopes. We're going to add a little bit of filtering. Let's go back to our noise source. And what we want to do is we want to click over here to our EG, so our level for the envelope generator for levels. There's no VCAs in this technically, since it's an FM synth, so you just have volume levels kind of thing, which is kind of disappointing because I wish it had a emulated VCA that you could use panning. Obviously, there's panning in the mod matrix, but there's no way to do random panning each time a voice is triggered, unless you know a way. Let me know. Anyway. That said, so if we have this, right, what we want to do is we want to close down or shorten the burst of noise as much as possible. So what we want to do is we want to turn the release down. We want to turn the sustain all the way down. We want to make it really short. Let me turn down the volume just a bit there. All right, cool. So we have that going. So now let's go back to the comb filter, which we're using kind of as the, let's just pretend it's the resonator cavity. Somebody will jump up and down and say that's wrong, but it sounds good. So let's go there. Let's go there, and let's shape that now. So let's add a bunch of release to the comb filter. Cool, right? That's just amazing. And obviously you can change the attack too, so you have like, you can also change the attack characteristics and the decay characteristics of the noise. Let's actually do that. So let's go back over here. More. You want the decay to be really short though, for it to sound very realistic. Isn't that awesome? That's just, I mean, if you think about it mathematically, it's actually pretty simple, but it's like some dark magic voodoo bullshit, isn't it? Kind of like RF when it comes to electronic design. If you look at like RF resonator cavities inside of like, you know, we're talking like really high speed RF, like 30 gigahertz plus. It's just some weird shit. But yeah, same same weirdness going on, but also simple at the same time. Yeah, so there's some other things we can do with it. Let's actually hear what it sounds like with different waveforms. So if we go over here to the algorithm, let's go mode. We're on the noise side, right? So if we change it to white noise, let's change it to white noise. And you'll just have to, like, you know, do it to taste basically. And blue noise. Pink noise. And obviously you can't use something like a sine because Oh, I guess you can use the sine. I take that back. There's no harmonics in the sine. How the hell is that working? Well, it sounds cool though. Saw. I believe in the paper that was described on how it works, Car Plus Strong in general, that the saw was used, a fast modulating sine was used, and apparently a square wave at some point. So anything with rich harmonics really works, or something with like a noise burst, obviously. But yeah, you can just have some fun with it, right? We'll use pink noise. Yeah, so that's really cool. So let's enhance it a little bit, shall we? Let's go back to the algorithm. Let's see, what do we want to do? We want to add a filter to it. Let's just add a filter. So let's go to filter. And let's change the filter type. I like the Poly 6 filter personally. It sounds really cool. Where is it? It is Poly 6. It really muffles the top end, but it sounds really cool too. Let's turn up the volume a little. And let's use the envelope generator 2, which is our filter envelope generator by default, I think. That's how the mod works on that. And let's use that to do this. So we're going to do this. Going to add a little resonance. No, not so much. Go over to mod here. And we want to click mod until we get to the filter envelope. Let's add some release. Okay, no, that does not sound good with resonance. Let's maybe a little. There we go. We can also shape that down a little. Okay, no, you know, let's not use resonance. But we can go through the different filter types too. It's high pass. Let's go to actually the MS-20 filter because I love it so much. Oh, I actually like that. It's subtle because we're not really adding any drive or anything to it, but... Alright, let's go back to that. Now that it's changed the characteristic of it, so we need to add a little. Let's add a bunch of decay. Or release, I'm sorry. In the upper frequencies, it sounds kind of harp-like. It sounds like a cross between a harp, a dulcimer, and a lute, I guess. And it sounds really cool. It sounds like an instrument that doesn't exist. It'd be perfect for something like a fantasy style soundtrack that you're working on, which I obviously always am. And it can kind of distinguish your sound over somebody else's that's using samples or something. And yeah, that's amazing. All right, so the other things that we can add to it are some effects. I'm not going to use the reverb in this thing because the reverb is god-awful, but somebody will also always go, it's like, no, I thought the reverb was good. Well, that's my opinion. We can use some chorus. Which I think the chorus in this thing is actually really good, and there's different modes of it, I believe. Actually, no, there's not. There's just kind of like chorus and there's an ensemble. They're totally different things. Let me see. What do we have here? I'm trying to look. Do we have phase? Yeah, phase. We have depth. The default settings are nice with that amount of mix right here. Yeah, so. I like it. So let's go to the second page. And then we have like an EQ we can use, which is really cool. We don't really need it in this. I think it sounds pretty damn good already. But let's change this out for a delay. So let's see, what do we have? Since this thing has an arpeggiator, I'm talking by this thing, the launch key over here. Let's do a stereo delay. Well, the main delay is stereo. It can add, I don't like the auto panning. It should have a ping pong instead of auto panning. I've always hated auto panning. There we go. So that gives us 2 different delay lines with the feedback is shared. So, which is nice because then we don't have to set separate feedbacks, but gives us a nice stereo spread. And since I think I chose BPM, right? Oh yeah, it has the little note there. And 1/8 into 1/16 should be great. I'm sending clock out of the launch keys, so... I mean, let's double check. Let's go into settings. So the way we can do that is, let me find the clock setting. Okay. MIDI out, it's on. So this should be by default automatically. I think it automatically receives MIDI clock, right? So if I turn MIDI clock off, well, let's turn the feedback way up so you can hear this. Oh, I guess it's not actually responding to my MIDI clock. So hold on. So if I go in here, shift global, and I go here, let's just find MIDI, right? Let's find clock. Oh, it is set to auto. Maybe I have to start the ARP. Hold on. Huh. I'm expecting it to do artifacting when I turn off the clock. But it sounds like it's in time, doesn't it? Oh, maybe because I actually have the ARP set to be very close to the tap tempo on this thing. Hold on. All right, let's go off. Go to ARP. Let's change the BPM here. Oh yeah. Okay, I'm changing the BPM on the key, on the launch key. So yes, it is responding to clock. All right, let me program a 5th in here to fixed chord. That way I can only do 1 key at a time. It's easier with the gloves I'm wearing. There we go. Well, that's a diminished 5th. That should sound really nice in an ARP. Cool. Let's set the octave up a little. Let's set the up and down too. Okay, cool. Let's set the octave to 2. Yeah, that sounds really cool, doesn't it? I'm going to change the bass octave down a bit. Nah, it sounds better in the higher. All right, let's go back to effect. Let's turn down the feedback a little. I was kind of just doing that to... Yeah, that sounds so cool. So yeah, just what you can do with that is amazing. And this is supposed to be an FM synth, but here we go, right? All right, so obviously you see the black hole here, so let's engage that and let's see what we can do with that. Less feedback, a little less gravity, a little less size. And we have some modulation going, so let's go here. Let's have the depth. I'm in the shift mode, so let's change the depth to about here and the rate to around here. Turning the high frequency down. We're off the shift mode now. Gorgeous. All right, yeah, it was because somebody's gonna complain. Let's hear the actual reverb on this thing, which is not good in my opinion. So let's go FX here. Let's turn on the reverb. Let's turn off the delay so we can just hear it by itself. So let's go back here. Let's go reverb. Yes, and then we want to have this hall. So time. See, okay, so if you turn it up all the way, right? Let's turn it up to like 10 seconds to get an ambient reverb time, and that's the max you can really get. And I know this is going to sound weirdly ironic because we're using a comb filter to make sound, but if you can hear there, it is very comb filtery on the reverb tails, which indicates there's not a lot of diffusion. Okay. What I want you to do is I'm going to turn off the ARP really quick. Listen to the reverb tail. It does not sound nice. It just decays into this mess. Even if you turn the tone down, let's turn the tone down. While it's better, it's still not great. And the different modes aren't any much better. I mean, even smooth, which I kind of like, is not that great. So let's do that. Smooth. Still has that unwanted comb filtering characteristic. They all kind of do that. Does this have space? Yeah, space is kind of okay, but it's, again, it's like the one on the Minilog XD. It's not great. Let's turn up the time a lot. While that one has really nice modulation, it still has the comb filtering artifacts. And the other thing I don't like about it in particular is this one doesn't have any way to turn off the pre-decay. I want an ambient reverb not to have much pre-decay, or pre-delay. I want it to be immediate. If I want some space where it sounds realistic, obviously I want a little bit of pre-delay before the reverberations happen, but not when I'm trying to do ambient, at least for me personally. I mean, it's not terrible, but even at 10 seconds, it's just not enough time. We have a different reverb as well. We have like a shimmer reverb and a spring. The spring is awful. It's mono too, I think. Maybe there's a little bit of stereo spread to it. Yeah, I don't like that one. And then the shimmer reverb is... Ugh. Hold on. All right, let's turn up the reverb time. You have like a riser. Or submarine, which is a octave down. So yeah, at least for me, I don't think it sounds good. If it sounds good and you think it'll work in your music, fine. You don't need an external reverb, but I always think this one does. The delay's fine. I mean, it's fine. I wish the stereo delay in this though had some kind of tone control, but it is what it is. If it had a tone control, it'd be excellent. So, because it's easy to tempo sync. The tape echo doesn't sound that bad, but unfortunately it doesn't add a stereo spread as far as I remember. Hold on. Nope, not really. Oops. Let's turn on the delay level. It does sound really nice though, doesn't it? Doesn't really sound like a tape echo though. Oh, it has dampening, so that's cool. Let's go to an 8th. Oh, I keep hitting the wrong thing. All right, hold on. Doesn't do tape ramp either. So that does go fully wet, okay. Doesn't really have any modulation either. It sounds like a little bit of a darker echo. It's fine, it's passable, but it doesn't add like a big stereo spread or anything. I mean, obviously we have the chorus going, so maybe that wasn't the best idea. Let's turn the chorus off. You'll see what I mean. Now it'll collapse our stereo signal. Let's try it actually back in the. Let's just try this like this. It sounds really nice. Let's do a little damping. I think yeah. We want to turn it up, right? A little bit more feedback. And let's turn on the black hole. Yeah, so not too bad when you have a good reverb behind it and that's already creating a stereo image. Again, I wish there was a way to have a auto pan. Well, there's an auto pan effect, but not like that. I wish there was a way to associate a voice triggering to a stereo spread. So like voice 1 is left, voice 2 is center, voice 3 is right, like a diverge control or like how sequential synths do it. But unfortunately, we don't have that. You can kind of do it with the multi-poly. You can, I don't know if you can do it with the, what is it called? The wave state. No, you can't, but it does have an LFO that is directly tied to panning, so that's interesting. I mean, we could tie an LFO to panning, but I don't want to do that. That said, sounds really damn good. That is an awesome patch, and you can have some fun with that. So yes, the Korg Opsix, at least at face value, is a pretty easy to use FM synth. I think it is. It's probably the most accessible FM synth outside of like the Yamaha Reface DX or something along those lines. This has way more physical controls. That has like a touchpad weird thingy. But yeah, this is really easy to program. The Mark 1 can be found. I think the Mark 1 can do this as well. I don't hold me to it, but I think it can. The Mark 1s go for fairly cheap online, so. But there's one caveat to the Mark 1s. You got to be careful. There was a bunch released when Korg was doing a blowout sale with defective OLED screens, so just make sure you don't get one with a defective OLED screen. That was kind of douchey of them. I feel like they knew about that, and that's why they put them up on their refurb site. So, I mean, but there you go. It sounds gorgeous. It's physical modeling on an FM synth. Well, it's not just an FM synth, but yeah, it's an altered FM synth, as you can tell from the name right up here. So cool. Physical modeling on a source that you wouldn't think that you would get physical modeling out of. Anyway, yeah, thanks for watching. I was a little rambly all over the place, but at least I showed a lot of like details of how I go into patch design and like that. And I had some audio examples, so I hope that helped somebody out. Again, thanks for watching. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet and you like my content, go ahead and subscribe. And if you like this video, give me a thumbs up and I will see you next time. All right, bye.